Hello and welcome to DD India. I'm Akshit Dongre and you're watching our special program Voice of the Global South, a show that brings to you stories, news, achievements and concerns of a rising aspirational world. So let us begin with today's episode. India celebrated the 10th edition of Vibrant Gujarat as the Summit of Success. This global summit has been held every year in West Indian state of Gujarat with an aim of inviting the world to participate in the growth of Indian economy. We'll tell you all that happened in this year's mega edition of the summit, which witnessed investments, deals and MOUs worth billions of dollars signed with the Indian companies.
India has emerged as a ray of hope amid global uncertainties, a voice that believes in global good, voice of the global south. Speaking at the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed India's efforts in shaping global future.
The world looks at India as an important pillar of stability, a friend who can be trusted, a partner who believes in people-centric development, a voice that believes in global good, a voice of the global south, an engine of growth in the global economy, a technology hub for finding solutions, a powerhouse of talented youth, and a democracy that delivers.
UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan was a chief guest at the summit. In recent years, the ties between India and the UAE have deepened. The UAE has invested several $1 billion in India's port infrastructure. Other initiatives include UAE's Sovereign Wealth Fund in Gift City and aircraft and ship leasing activities by Transworld companies.
There has been 4 MOUs, 3 of them between the Ministry of Investment and the Government of India, one of them in healthcare, the other one is in food parks, specifically in deciding what land would be used at the food parks project. And the third one is also between the Ministry of Investment and the government in renewable energy, and that is to produce 60 gigawatts of renewables here in India.
Top industrial tycoons from India and overseas announced a slew of investments of over $62 billion in Gujarat at the summit.
Suzuki Group will invest 3,200 crore rupees in Suzuki Motor Gujarat to add a new 4th production line, which can produce 2.5 lakh units per year. This will increase the annual production capacity of Suzuki Motor Gujarat.
I commit to further investments. We are constructing the world's largest green energy park in Khavda district, Kutch, generating 30 gigawatt of our renewable energy over 725 square kilometers. Even visible is from space.
As Prime Minister of India, you are working on the mantra of global good and make India the world's growth engine. The story of your journey from Gujarat to the global stage in just 2 decades is nothing short of a modern epic. Today, and in today's India, is the best time for young people to enter the economy, to innovate, and to provide ease of living and ease of earning to hundreds of millions of people.
The Finnish ambassador has said that India, with its strong market, and Finland, with its expertise in green energy, can become a role model for future economies. India's Prime Minister Modi met with his Czech counterpart and discussed ways to advance bilateral ties, especially in the knowledge, technology and scientific fields. This year, 34 nations joined Vibrant Gujarat as partner countries. Besides them, 16 entities also joined as partner organizations. truly making, as has been the tradition of previous summits as well, a global conclave of significant economic and commercial success.
What is happening in Ecuador? The Latin American nation is grappling with an unprecedented gang war that now threatens to destabilize the country. Gangsters are on a rampage and the government has declared an internal emergency. And in this episode of Voice of the Global South, we'll tell you how this crisis started, where it is headed, and what it means for the war against drugs for the Latin America.
Armed gangsters took control of Ecuador's public broadcaster. The takeover was live for 20 minutes as people wielding guns and grenades threatened the journalists. The incident has attracted worldwide attention towards the ongoing gang violence in the South American nation. The crisis, however, has been in the making for some years now.
Then is when I told them, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to demand that the police not enter or otherwise you will kill us one by one? That is what they practically forced me to say. Like you saw, after they tucked the dynamite inside my pocket and removed it later on, I was in a state of calm.
Security in Ecuador has worsened since the coronavirus pandemic, which also battered the nation's economy. According to the government data, the number of violent deaths rose to 8,008 in 2023, nearly double the 2022 figure. The government blames the situation on the growing reach of cocaine trafficking gangs who have destabilized swathes of South America. But the question is, what was the latest trigger? On Sunday, Adolfo Macias, leader of a major criminal gang, had disappeared from the prison where he was serving a 34-year sentence. Meanwhile, there were incidents of violence in at least 6 prisons beginning on Monday. As of Wednesday, more than 180 guards and other staff were still being held hostage by prisoners. In Riobamba, a provincial capital in central Ecuador, 39 inmates escaped from a prison, though some have been recaptured. 36-year-old President Daniel Noboa, who took over the office in last November promising to crack down on soaring levels of violence in the South American country, has announced a state of emergency.
I have just signed the state of exception decree so that the armed force have full political and legal backing in their actions. I call on the citizens because this is everyone's fight and to show their support. We are experiencing a sign that things must change in the country and that our laws are not enough to live in peace. This is no room for opportunistic politicians to seek advantage amid a prison security crisis. We will not negotiate with terrorists, nor will we rest until we return peace to all Ecuadorians.
Now, the military and police operations are taking place across Ecuador in response to a wave of violence, with the government pledging to wage war on crime gangs they blame for the unrest.
We have detained many people. There are 14 detainees in 3 operations. One took place in Guayas, where the terrorist gang named Los Lobos was dismantled. In that operation, a woman with no criminal report was detained.
The action by the authorities in Ecuador has a huge implication on the drug menace impacting a large part of the global South nations. And the results of the ongoing actions by the Ecuadorian president will decide the fate of war on drugs in South America.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has once again secured a victory and re-elected to a 4th straight term. A number of factors were in play in this election, such as boycott by the main opposition party, low voter turnout, and a lot of other issues that have been impacting the South Asian country. Hasina has come to power with a promise to boost the economy, but it remains to be seen that how the country will be tackling all the challenges that it has been facing for the past several years.
I always feel my responsibility for my people, that I have to serve them. So I never felt that this is the position I have to relish. No, I feel this is the opportunity to serve my country, serve my people, and ensure them a better life.
Winning almost 75% of the seats in Sunday's general elections, Sheikh Hasina has been credited with turning around the economy and the massive garments industry.
This election was a bit different. Usually my party, all parties select their candidates. This time, I selected candidates and opened it for everyone as well, therefore anyone who would contest. You probably noticed a party which didn't participate because they never wanted to. Because a party created by military dictator cannot run by themselves. They don't have people's support. Therefore, they are intimidated by the election.
However, critics accuse Hasina of authoritarianism, human rights violations, crackdowns on free speech and suppression of dissent, whereas for the people of Bangladesh, economic development is a priority.
The government must give a check on the unemployment issue. The young generation must be retained. Those who get frustrated and want to go abroad by hook or by crook. The government must curb the crazy inflation, and I request them to lower tax and provide subsidies to the poor people. We don't want anything else. Whosoever comes to power.
Now Hasina's real test to her rule lies in her ability to tackle soaring inflation and rising cost of living in the coming months.
What is different this time, however, is the underlying economic condition, right? So she did not face this level of dissent, this level of, sort of opposition, concerted opposition to her rule before the pandemic, because the economic conditions were different.
While Sheikh Hasina has been given an unprecedented fifth term as the Prime Minister of the world's eighth most populous nation, the big question is whether she would be able to deliver on her poll promises.
In today's episode of Voice of the Global South, we'll discuss an issue that impacts almost all of the Global South but is rarely discussed. Thousands of elephants are killed each year for their tusks despite a 1989 ban on the trade of ivory. In a bid to protect its dwindling elephant population, now Nigeria has recently destroyed 2.5 tons of seized elephant tusks valued at over $11.2 million. Powder from the crushed tusks will be used in building symbolic national park monument, and this is a major action that has been taken against this malpractice.
Tusks, horns of thousands of animals, most probably dead due to poaching, crushed to smithereens by the Nigerian authorities. A clear signal of zero tolerance against poaching by the West African nation. The ivories destroyed on Tuesday were worth over $11 million. It was destroyed to protect the wildlife from poaching.
The ivory we have right here marked for destruction are illegal wildlife product that has been seized over the years and stockpiled with the agency, the NESRA agency that is in charge of such. And then today we have brought everything out to say we want to make a public show of destroying them to mark a tenure or an era where Nigeria says no to illegal wildlife trade, no to destruction of our biodiversity, no to destruction of our wildlife.
Over the past 3 decades, Nigeria's elephant population has declined drastically from an estimated 1,500 to less than 400 due to poaching for ivory, habitat loss, and human-elephant conflict.
We want to let people know that these tusks belong to elephants. They are most beautiful on the elephants, and we should leave them on the elephant. Every tusk you see today represents an animal that's been killed.
Nigeria is considered a hub for gangs sending illegal African wildlife parts, including tusks and pangolin scales, to Asia. But the large West African nation has stepped up counter-smuggling efforts in recent years to make its biggest seizure of illegal wildlife parts in August 2021.
We will take a small break here and be back with more Global South stories on the other side. Keep watching.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibilities. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution. This series is going to tell stories of such changemakers. Watch Changemakers on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India and this is Voice of the Global South. Let's move on to our next story. The world is drowning under the weight of plastic pollution with more than 430 million tons of plastic produced annually. And the microplastics are now being found in the world's oceans, food and even drinking water. To look at microplastic pollution in the countries around the world, a joint investigation has been launched now by the International Atomic Energy Agency and the Argentine Antarctic Institute to battle this health hazard.
Microplastics have become a menace to the world. These tiny pieces of plastics do not break down and take thousands of years to decompose. And in the meantime, they wreak havoc on the environment.
It's estimated that since its introduction into the market, 7 billion tons of plastic have been dumped into the environment.
Recent research has found that these tiny pieces of plastic are especially harmful for water bodies and have been detected in marine organisms from plankton to whales, in commercial seafood, and even in drinking water. Now, nuclear science is being used to study the amount of microplastics in Antarctica's waters, sediment, and even penguin droppings.
The health of Antarctica is essential for the health of the planet. Microplastics are affecting the environment, and this place is no exception to that. Through Nutec Plastics, the IAEA is starting a scientific campaign to assess, to identify the amounts of microplastics that might be out there.
The standard water treatment facilities cannot remove all traces of microplastics. Researchers have found microplastics damage human cells, decrease reproductive health, and disrupt the endocrine system. Microplastics also act as a vessel for harmful substances to enter the body, and they can absorb chemicals linked to cancers and weakened immune systems.
We are paying special attention to the smallest fraction of microplastics and trying to identify their origins. Also, if they have been carried by sea currents from other parts of the planet or are generated in Antarctica itself.
The joint program will use Argentine icebreaker, and scientists will take the samples from penguins' guano, sediment from the seabed, and from the water around the ice sheet to be analyzed at Antarctica's Carlini base in the Antarctic.
A dramatic shift in weather patterns, a fallout of the climate change, is impacting the winter wonderland Gulmarg in the Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Known for its winter tourism, the region hasn't seen any snow this time, and now Unprecedented dry spells are affecting businesses and disappointing tourists, while meteorologists predict continued aridity. Locals and visitors alike are anxiously awaiting the return of the snow that has shaped their way of life for generations.
This is our bad luck that we are not seeing snow this year. We always saw at least 4 to 5 foot snow during this season. All the businesses, including hotels, sledges, and ice skating, have seen a fall in income, and I have never seen horses or animals during this season in last 50 years of my life living here. This snow provides for our families.
Gulmarg, situated in the scenic Kashmir Valley of India's Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and celebrated for its winter charm adorned with snow, is currently undergoing a notable transformation. The area is grappling with an unusual and severe dry spell amid the harsh winter, raising concerns among citizens and tourists alike.
The motive of this tour was to witness snow, but this year we are disappointed, as there is no snowfall. People working here are also incurring losses, and we were unable to see the snow. According to the J&K Met Department, there has been a drop in the precipitation levels and has also predicted a significant weather activity in the coming days.
Weather continuously dry चल रहा है.
The whole of December and the first week of January has been dry. There are no major precipitation chances in the coming days. The weather may remain dry till noon of January 16. There was a pattern of early snowfall for the last 3 to 4 years, which is missing this year. There is no major spell. El Nino has persisted since November and may continue till next month. In a departure from the typical snowy landscape, Gulmarg's transformation raises concerns about its long-standing reliance on winter precipitation, leaving locals and visitors yearning for the return of the snow that defines their way of life.
The preparations for the inauguration of the Grand Ram Temple in India's Ayodhya are underway. The significant cultural and religious impact is evident as people gear up for this historic event on January 22nd, where people from all across the world will have a day like that of Diwali, the festival of lights.
Preparations are in full swing in Ayodhya, the temple town settled in south-central part of the state of Uttar Pradesh in northern India for the consecration of Lord Ram's idol. The Ram temple in Ayodhya echoes in the traditional Nagar style. It is spanning over 380 feet east to west, 250 feet wide, and reaches for the heavens at 161 feet. People from around the vicinity of Ayodhya offer their prayers in the form of carving idols, which will be a part of the grand temple.
पर हम लोगों को 1.5 साल हो गया काम करते हुए। सुबह हम लोग 8 बजे यहाँ पर आ जाते हैं और 5:10 पे छुट्टी हो जाती है। बहुत अच्छा लगता है हम लोगों को यहाँ पे काम करने में और प्रभु की सेवा करने का अवसर मिला है हमें ये, और यहाँ पे काम करके हमें बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
मेरा कार्य मैं फिनिशिंग का काम करती हूँ, ये तराश रही हूँ पत्थर। जी काला है, उसको व्हाइट करना है, रांजना भूमि में जाएगा।
The temple is scheduled to inaugurate on the 22nd of January, witnessing more than hundreds and thousands of visitors. Indian-American Congressman Sri Thanedar at an event mentioned about the inauguration of Ram Mandir and that it means a lot and is the pride of every Indian.
It's historic and it's a pride for every Indian to see that temple built. I have seen pictures of it and they are spectacular. Through Ramayana and the epic, we bring people together. This is a cultural bond that we have it with like-minded people. And now we see Ramayana is been appreciated all over Asia Pacific region with 15 different countries. It is practiced, and Ramayana brings to us, it's more than epic, it is the value system.
Moreover, Indian Minister Anurag Singh Thakur urged the invitees to join the inauguration and devotees to visit the temple.
भारत के
कई पीढ़ियों ने जो भव्य राम मंदिर का कल्पना की थी या सपना देखा था वो पूरा होने को आया। मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि देश भर के कोने कोने से जो लोग भव्य राम मंदिर का दर्शन करना चाहते हैं, प्राण प्रतिष्ठा के दिन के बाद उनका आना जाना शुरू होगा। मेरा इतना ही निवेदन रहेगा कि 22 तारीख को जिनको निमंत्रण मिला है वो तो अवश्य जाएं, लेकिन उसके बाद आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जब अलग अलग दिनों में खुलेगा तो उस पर जाना चाहिए।
The dream of witnessing the Ram temple by several generations is all set to come true.
This is all we have for you in this edition of Voice of the Global South. Let us know your thoughts on the show. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching a special program. News and updates continue on DD India. Keep watching.